And go.
There we are, back to it. Sadly we couldn't play last week due to illness, but we are back, everybody, with the trimmed hedges, and we'll go straight into the recap of last session, starting with Estrella.
So, in the aftermath of the siege of Ravenbridge, we spent the day doing different tasks. Estrella helped clean up the rubble to save people from under the rubble or from ruins, which is where she met Bruno again, who invited her to like an initiation into the Order of the Talons that she's supposed to join as a spy for the king. It will involve a magical questioning, which Estrella was not happy about, but the advantages far surpass her discomfort about it. He also told her, better bring your group along. There could be trouble. So she told the others, hey, let's do something together as a group, all together. And let's go to that event that Preacher has. He can tell more about that later. But when the group went to that event, well, Estrella wasn't there until she came crushing through the wall. Preacher, what event was that?
Well, rewind time and move back to Preacher's start of the day. He went out and started helping clear some rubble along with the Man of Clay, and it went rather well. We did some heavy work and saved quite a few souls that were buried underneath and dug out some corpses, which was less pleasant, but still necessary to do. Until Preacher got a surprise visit from a very beautiful young lady who didn't introduce herself at first, but talked a little bit and then told him that she was the Marquesa Giselle and was looking to enlist or offer the Men of Clay the post as city guards / her personal family's watchkeepers. Since most of the guards have been wiped out, so she was looking for men of moral caliber as well as good physical ability. We agreed on this, and Preacher was suddenly appointed as Grand Master of a monastic order, with the task of basically keeping order and having a watch guard force in the old keep. And the Marquesa didn't mind that the people were of common nature. On the contrary, she thought that it was a good thing. So we might be heading for a bit of a clash with the noble orders. But anyway, moving on. After a bit more work, we were supposed to gather for the ceremony in which she was speaking loud and proud about how the city had survived this ordeal, and basically was about to hand the word over to Preacher. When the wall next to us suddenly exploded and out came Estrella flying, and that's where we got over to the current day. Most of us were present. I'll hand over to Marisol.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm there because I have a date. I finally went out on a real date with Walter, instead of just sneaking around at night like we've done for who knows how long. So I had some really nice talks during the last when we left that tower or wherever it was, and then I slept in, had a really nice breakfast with Walter, and got a new gadget, so that's going to be fun to test. And then I left for my date. Another person that left was Minus.
Yeah. While Magnus was with Estrella helping people through the city, a beautiful woman in the reds and golds of excuse me, of Sorsha came up and basically invited him to come along and see him and do his duty as a champion of Sorsha and Carissa. She gave him an address, which was to the... hold on, just a second. Caesar's Hairy Donkey. That was the one. After this, and after a quick glance from Estrella, going, what the heck was that all about, basically? Second beautiful woman, this time in the blues and golds of the priesthood of Carissa, came along. Said she was disappointed he hadn't visited either, and gave him an address in the city to visit, to do his duty as a champion. Magnus protested and said that he'd already been visited by the First Lady, who was the maiden of Sorsha, the second one being the mother of Carissa, and she said that was his problem. So later on, we're getting ready to depart for the ceremony, and Magnus makes his way out into the corridor, where he meets an old lady who tells him a story about how her sons have lost their houses, and they're going to have to move back in with her. She is a widow who has recently found new love, and unfortunately, if her sons move in, her love will have to move out. And Magnus protested that she could not do that, and that she could not put love over duty. And the old lady thanked him, remarked that love sometimes comes from the strangest places, to which he agreed, and went on to one of the addresses he'd been given, where he was turned away from the door and told that the mother that didn't want to see him. So we struck out to return to the group. And I think we shall pass it along to Edemir.
Yeah, not really much to add. I went to help Zara do her stuff. And speaking of which, Zara?
Yeah, so Zara decided that when she got woken up by people cheering for old Mador because he's the face of our party these days for heroism and chivalry, he can have it. Zara slipped out the window and snuck into the keep to go to the library and do some research about a amulet she had acquired. The amulet revealed itself to be from an era before current recorded time was recorded like it is or some such, and they were a little upset that I had discovered the name of their god. Although the ghost that came out of the amulet promised me more power if I could find out what her name was. So we have a quest there. On our way back, Ioti informed me of a character who is trying to have me smuggle something called Smiley Weed into the city, which is used by hag covens to abduct people. So Zara went to go find out who this guy was trying to smuggle Smiley Weed in for. And while we were at the Satyr's Hairy Donkey meeting with this gentleman, someone across the room, dressed up real nicely, offered Zara a drink. The guy that was trying to do the smuggling slapped the drink over and then got shot. And then the guy who shot him was the guy who sent the drink over. He seemed upset, but he vanished into thin air. So we have a bit of a mystery to find out who's trying to smuggle in the hag drugs and who's trying to poison Zara. And then, yeah, let's go with Medor.
Well, I don't know about the cheering. I hadn't even know what happened to me till a little bit later. We headed. I headed out to talk to the Grand Marshal of the Raven Guards to find out about the suit of armor that my father wore. We then sat down and talked things over. Found out it was the Order of the Golden Phoenix, Golden Wyvern, and that, as far as he knew, there was no one left. And then he asked me if I would want to start it or continue as a Raven Guard, which I decided to start it. And then the Mother Superior had showed up with my birth certificate. It turns out that I am a baron of a land that's no more, I think, if I recall. I think some demons took care of that. Then most of the rest of the time, most of that day I spent over at the orphanarium, talking to the children, calming down, and just trying to get things straightened out there. When we came back, we headed out to the ceremony for preacher. There's only a few of us there, if I recall. And we, as where she was doing her speech, when yes, Estrella burst it to the wall. Oh boy. Yodi.
Yeah, Yodi took it pretty chill. I went to the library and studied, trying to figure out the artifact that I must give this dragon so that I don't become a snack. I didn't really find much out about that, but I did find out about Preacher's hand wraps and how they're not actually what is doing the Ghostbuster thing and sucking people's souls into him. It's actually just like a series of reliquaries in his chest. So that's a lot more questions that need to be answered, I think. Yeah, I think that the whole bit with Renfield, I was pretty cagey about that, and then Zara went and dealt with that, and then I went to the festival. I think that was it. Has anybody else not gone? Then on to
Anybody have
Shoggoth.
anything to add?
Also adding that my staff grew, and that there's a circle of druids that I gotta help because they're being onslaughted. That's about it.
Yeah. And I have to add that Estrella met someone she knew from her, duty in the Zeeb's army, telling her that a few of the other refugees formed a mercenary group and were hired to protect a caravan of coffins. Some of those child-sized, so we may have a clue on the kidnapped children.
There we are. On that note, then we'll go over to Estrella as she is about to go sneak off and meet Bruno. You peel off easily enough from the rest of your friends. They never notice that you disappear, being too busy high-fiving Preacher and giving him fist bumps about having gotten a stronghold for his people. Doesn't take you more than a minute before you meet up with Bruno on top of a roof in the shadows. He nods to Estrella. Like, Estrella, are you ready for your investiture as a talon of the king?
Well, as ready as one can be, I guess. I didn't get all of my group to come, but most of them are downstairs in the hall.
Do not worry. We've had a series of roadworks and other accidents happen, so that the ones walking in the streets will be they will be here once we start. They're being shepherded, so to speak. This is the sort of thing we are good at. There's a skill that you must learn as well. For now, though, follow me. He walks over to, like there's a window opening on top of the roof and just jumps in.
Estrella follows.
Right. Jumping down into a room, Estrella finds herself inside 3 consecutive circles of magic runes. You can feel like her skin is starting to tighten and constrict. Next to Bruno, there's an elf, one of the midnight elves, the dark-skinned ones, like Mador, standing. Bruno looks at her and apologies. You mentioned your sigils. We will need to remove them before continuing. There is a risk that whoever placed them on you is watching. However, my companion here and one of your coming colleagues, Martin Mergenfluster, is a very accomplished wizard from Friedrichstadt. The elf bows to Estrella and to tell if this becomes uncomfortable.
About now already? Just go on with it.
Very well. You can hear cheering just outside. Yeah. He moves his hands and you can see several like consecutively smaller circles of runes in front of his face moving up towards Estrella, almost like some sort of magical telescope. Like, well, this is magic of a high order indeed, but I can dispel it. Luckily, you were not a particularly important part of the Sebesian army. They save their higher levels of magics for others. He starts moving his hands and chanting a spell, and feels like half of Estrella's face is being peeled off with red-hot pokers. You know, after about half a minute, she can see a part of her skin that's around the eye, kind of floating out from her face.
She is just gritting her teeth, trying not to scream.
There we are. This was none too difficult. And as he's saying that, Estrella can feel things starting to burn up her chin bones. In the reflection of their eyes, she can see runes sort of exploding on her, through her flesh from her bones. It is quite painful indeed.
She screams.
The Mergenfluster, you can see him just smack his staff down into the ground so that a shield pops out over him and Bruno. And the next Estrella remembers is that she's flying through the air, smacks straight into Preacher. Preacher can see lines of glowing runes, not just from her chin bones, but down her jawbone and up, going further back on her skull and forehead as well. And she is also screaming, and seems to lack most of the skin on the left side of her face.
Medic!
Well, everything moves slowly for a moment as Preacher kind of gets Estrella steadied and starts shouting medic before you all feel your stomachs dropping out. And you're no longer in the city. You're standing on what seems like desert sand. In front of you, there's a tall, powerfully built creature, maybe about 3 meters high. That would be 2.5 fridges for our American viewers. We will share a picture of that. She has her sword drawn. Looks at Estrella like, You dare run away from your husband? What have you to explain for yourself?
Husband? What?
You silly peasant girl. Did you think Iltazadum did not take you to his harem as well as to his army when he took you in? You ungrateful wretch. Given powerful magics and powerful warriors, and what do? You run away, you lose. Bow down. I will bring you back to your husband. These poor wretches wait you here. I shall allow them to starve to death in the desert. If you submit now.
I swore to never call anyone master again.
You bring dishonor on your husband. I will chop off your hands and feet. Have you grovel before him to beg to have them regrown.
You just try. I'm no longer alone. And she spits at her.
She takes a step back in the sand and grins. Like, well, neither am I. In addition to her, you have this lovely creature. One Estrella recognizes as a typical high-ranking officer of the Sabesian army. There is also coming out of a lamp in a cloud of fire and laughing, a tall, brass-skinned lady that just you can feel heat coming off her. And running out of the desert, there are 2 giants as well, all of them heading towards Estrella. And with that, the rest of y'all probably confused as balls. We will go to initiatives. See, the Girtabilu Seer is first going to, let's see. Oh, that's a touch. What do you know? Where you at, bro? There we are. Well, being pretty far from Estrella and only seeing Preacher currently, she is going to hit Preacher with a Spirit Blast. So that is going to be hum. So let's find the DC on that. That is a DC 33. And I forgot to check what Fortitude save for Preacher there.
Copy. Fortitude save. Level of spell?
6. You're Your dice are, as usual, fantastic. So that is actually going to be a critical on Preacher. Okay, lovely. And starting the ball off is 95 force damage to Preacher.
Got it.
Wonderful, beautiful start for y'all. Then the Desert Giant here is going to move up towards Estrella. Up there. That takes her through Magnus's threat range.
Okay, Magnus will strike out with the Grieving Blade.
That is a miss, sir. And she yeets a rock at Estrella. And, oh dear. Completely flubs it and is going to be prone until her next turn. The other Desert Giant is going to actually run up and try to deal with Roran. Because, you know, he big. And whacks him with a... is that a critical on Roran? That was Edamir. What do you mean? Release 19 update, yada yada. This is not things I need to deal with right now. That is a critical on Roran. Smacks him with her scimitar for 33 slashing damage. That takes us to Estrella.
Seeing that one of the giants fell down, Estrella is closing in on that one. And is going to strike with her Piranha Kiss.
Very well. Well, that's a critical.
She does not want to go back. And seeing as that is a prone enemy, I guess I can do my sneak, right?
That is correct. Good hit.
And with my third action, I am going to twist the knife, so 2 persistent bleed damage.
Ah. Ouchies.
And
Yep.
don't forget that from the damage I did with the knife, there's also acid damage.
Very well. Let's see. Can I add bleed here somewhere to make my own life a bit easier?
Well, and let me see. I do have Debilitating Strike, which is a free one. Flat. You strike. It's a flat-footed creature. I guess prone.
That is
counts.
correct.
Yep. So enfeebled one, please.
Enfeebled one as well. Enfeebling the giant. That's just rude. Right. This takes us to Captain Marisol. You can see she's appeared out of the out of whatever she was doing, about to clink a glass of champagne with somebody. So she kind of just clinks it in the air and looks around, slightly confused for just a moment.
You're so gonna pay for this. Since I'm on a date, I'm just carrying pistols in my belt, aren't I?
I have no idea. You've got your sleeves, so what you're carrying is entirely up to you.
Well, I can easily remove the sleeves and add them to my dress. That's true. So out of my sleeve, I pulled the Iris of the Sky. And I'm gonna shoot at the thing that is currently trying very hard to kill Preacher.
Do you actually have... Yeah, you got line of sight to it. It's large.
Isn't that bigger than the rock? I'm guessing. Or I will take a step to the side. That's also a possibility.
It is rather large, yes, but it's on a lot of small legs, so it's more long and broad large than tall large. So you'd have to take a step to the side, yes.
Like so.
Big old scorpion tail on it.
And then I'm gonna do something I've never done before, because this was a very romantic gift indeed. I pull a card.
Aha.
So I pull corrosive ammunition.
Very well then.
So
Corrosive ammunition, 1d8 persistent acid damage.
all right.
Corrosive dust. Okay, yeah. So you're firing Chernobyl ammo suddenly.
Or I pretend to be one of those things that licks you and then eat all your stuff because it's rusted.
Yes, I do believe that monster has a name with rust somewhere in it.
Yeah, something like that. Thank you.
Wee tiny doggo.
So, I'm gonna do exactly what has put myself on fire the last couple of sessions. But this time, I do not put myself on fire.
No, I do believe that is a critical. So that's a lot of dice.
So it's 48 plus 6 persistence fire damage plus 3 persistent acid damage.
Right.
And I'm gonna reload.
Well, that's quite lovely, and it's... Okay, so you shoot it. It's now on fire and dissolving at the same time. An
Yes.
acid fire, if you will. You hit it with Willy Pete, is what you did. Okay, next one is Edamir.
I will move there.
This is very, very warm and very, very uncomfortable for an Arctic fox.
Yeah, seeing as it's a little bit dry, I'm gonna cast Lightning Storm.
Probably something like 120 Fahrenheit where you are right now. It's not a very pleasant place to be.
So I'm gonna put a cloud above what's marked G and Euphrates,
Right.
and basic reflex on the G.
And that is a DC you leveled, so it's a DC 30 now, is it?
Let me check. It is a 29.
29, gotcha. Right. Roll your damage, sir. Yeah, big scorpion bro seems pretty bothered about it. Diafridi dodges the worst of it.
It only targets one. I can select which one.
My bad then. In that case, big scorpion bro gets himself zapped pretty good.
And then Roran will bite the desert giant that Estrella and Magnus is near.
Very well. That is a hit.
And he's already prone, isn't he?
That is correct.
And he will bite again.
That's another hit.
And that'll be my turn.
This desert giant is straight up not enjoying life right now. And that takes us to this lady. Let me check some stats. Do. Oh, bummer. Well, she's gonna just move down here. And then she yeets a fireball at Zara. Can hear her going like, water spirit, die, will you? And Zara is hit for a what is colloquially known as a heck of a lot of fire damage. In this case, 53. She does seem quite surprised when Zara is still standing there, a bit charred, but not turned to ash. Speaking of Zara, it's Zara's turn.
I'm an air elemental, you fool. Zara is going to then touch herself in the nose with a blur wand.
Boop. Very well.
And then I'm going to do an esoteric lore on the Ifriti.
Aha. Okay, yeah. It is a large genie from the elemental plane of fire. This one looks like just a bog standard Ifriti, not a noble one, so that's probably a good thing for you all. Powerful magical abilities, mostly in the form of being able to throw fire, turn into mist and or smoke in the Ifriti's case, and go invisible whenever it feels like it. It is also immune to fire and weak to cold. Weakness 10 to cold. They can change size as much as they feel like, and they have a tendency to set people on fire when they touch them. Ifritis can also walk between the astral, elemental, or material plane, pretty much as however they want.
Okay, I will trigger cold damage whenever I hit her.
Very well. Is that your turn, sir?
That is my turn, yes.
In that case, over to the man who got blasted something fierce with that spirit blast. It is Preacher's turn, and he is angry.
Very angry. I'm going to kick off with a Stoke Stance, turning that anger into fire, literally, all over my body. And then I'm going to try and Flurry Blow grab, second one combat grab, and hopefully pin him or it in place for my friendly sniper.
Right. Do you have reach, or are you going to have to move?
Not entirely sure how long and how big that thing is. I'm probably going to have to move.
You are probably going to have to move. In which case, it is going to try to smack you with its stinger as you're moving in. And actually misses. Preacher dodges the stinger. Like, nope, no scorpion poison for me today.
Mm-hmm. So, one flurry.
1 flurry, 2 flurry, 3 flurry, go. It is not Preacher's day. This thing is big, and it uses its tail in addition to its clawed hands and spear to keep him at bay. He does not actually manage to hit it.
And that should have been Stoke Lance 1, moving in 1, and the attack as well. So 3 actions done.
There we are. Which takes us to Mr. Iodi.
Ah, yes. I would like to move to here.
Yep. You feel, you're a brass dragon kobold. You feel this warmth is nice. You haven't been this comfortable for years, actually. This is a place you would like to have a summer home.
Duly noted. I am going to cast a web let's see, 30-foot burst, or 10-foot burst, I mean. I'm going to put
Very
it
well.
between the Ifrit and the lady here with the sword.
Mm-hmm. So that gets the three of them in the web. Let's get a little webby web out here. If I can, drawing mode, there we are. That's going to be something like that.
Each square can be cleared of the web by a single attack or effect that deals 5 damage or 1 fire damage. A square has 5 AC and automatically fails saving throws. Each time a creature in the web begins to use a move action or enters the web during a move action, must attempt an athletics check or reflex save against your spell DC to avoid taking a circumstance penalty to its speed or becoming immobilized.
Very well. So you gonna do anything else?
Nope, that's all I can do.
Right. Let's see this thing. Yeah, so the Ifriti is just going to reach out and touch the web, and it's part of it all, and it just burns away. This thing is pretty much made of fire, and then it turns invisible. And it is now Mador's turn.
All right. Shoot the crossbow at the G.
Yes, the big scorpion person. That's it.
Calling the glaive forth as I move in to engage.
Yeah, you can see some greenish blood actually spurt from blue-greenish blood spurt from its wound as it's hit there. Just move
And
you
I
into
believe
full
that's
square.
I want to make sure I'm polearm. Yeah.
Yeah, just move you into full square there. So
And
yeah,
I'll swing with the glaive.
go for it, sir. That's a natural 20. That's a critical. My lord, this thing is taking a pounding. Yeah, it's bleeding pretty heavily now. Scales are cracked several places.
And that's my moves.
Gotcha. Which brings us to our that's our first one of the day. That is Magnus's initiative roll. Brings us to Magnus.
Okay, typical. Magnus takes a 5-foot step to here.
Well,
Opposite the giant he missed earlier, and then he takes another swing with the grieving blade.
oh boy, that thing is prone. I do not believe it's going to have a fantastic time. Let me just check its stats. That's a critical, sir. And I see you roll critical damage.
Yes.
Which was not premature. Yeah, this giant's she is very, very injured. Definitely not having a good time on the floor there.
Okay, he'll take another swipe for good measure.
Oh boy. Nope, he actually goes forward to give it a good slash, manages to stumble over the giant, smack into Estrella, and they are both now prone as well.
Okay, use the last move to get up then.
That was a move and 2 attacks, sir, so you do not have any more actions.
Nope, no, you are correct, sir.
That takes us to this thing. It is straight up not having a good time. Let us check its spell list. First is gonna disengage back this way, so that means no attacks of opportunity. And then it casts a spell, and you see a lot of I'll do my best to make him here. A lot of swords and other blades about 30 feet long and 10 feet high start swirling about in that area. Let me just double check the dimensions of that spell. Dimensions. 20 feet high, 120 feet long, actually. So it goes way out to the side there. That is it's this desert giant here is gonna get up. So is she agile is the question. She's pretty dang agile, actually. She's gonna kip up, which she does, not provoking any attacks of opportunity. And then sneers at Estrella, like, "You have no idea of your bloodline. Get back to your lord and produce babies!" And then slashes at Estrella twice with her scimitar.
Even prone, I still try to nimble dodge.
That means you actually dodged the second blow, but the first one catches Estrella, but only barely for 13 damage. The other giant here is going to try to just brute force her way out of this web. First time I ever see a giant without athletics. Okay then. In that case, she's going to spend two turns just slashing away the web around her. And then she's going to move down towards Iodi, giving Roran an attack of opportunity.
I don't think Roran has an attack of opportunity.
Well, in that case, he doesn't get one. It is Estrella's turn.
Yep. Of course, she is trying to get up again.
Oh yeah, she keeps up with no issue. Slightly less graceful than the giant did, to her annoyance.
Oh, all right. But then again, I am doing a second acrobatics roll because, of course, I want to tumble behind.
That works.
And with that, she is going to attack again.
Yeah.
Now flanking as well.
That is a hit.
Good. There we go with this and with this.
22 damage. Yeah, this giant's bleeding from every which way now, but it's still a giant. They don't go down easy, so...
Don't forget the acid and the persistent bleed.
Yeah, she's got some nasty blood loss and everything, but she's just so big that it's going to take her a good long while to bleed out. Speaking of bleeding out, it is Marisol's turn.
Yeah, so I now have the scorpion dude close to me and a wall of blades between me and people that can actually help me. So yeah, I'm gonna just have to really hope I kill it before it kills me.
Mm-hmm.
So I will shoot.
That is a hit.
Then I will reload as I run over here to get further away from it.
Okay.
And shoot again.
Yeah, that's going to give it half concealment, though. So that one's missed. Pings off the rock.
Yeah, and I ignore concealment, remember?
Fair point. Still pings off the rock, because the roll is way too low. Edamir, it is your turn.
Let's see. I will sustain spell for my lightning storm and make it hit the giant scorpion again. So
Very
reflex
well.
save on him.
Dodges most of it this time, but not all of it. Kablamo, that is still a lot of damage. Yeah, the giant scorpion person is kind of reeling on all of their legs. You see that lightning strike takes out one leg on each side of it, and it's most of its chitin is cracked now. It is
And-
very, very weak.
Do I see the Ifriti with my special eye?
Gonna have to check your special eye to see if you do. Let's see. Can't remember the effect on that thing. What was the name of that item? Because I can't see it in your inventory.
Cryolight eye.
Let us check that out real quick. Like, can't expect me to remember magic items I give you. That would be too much to hope for. Illusion.
Invisibility is an illusion spell.
Well, in that case, you can do if you do a perception check and you get a success, that's going to be like a critical success. So I'm going to have to roll a stealth for this thing, and you're going to have to see if you can spot it. Are you stealthy? That is, you do spot it. Nobody else does, but you do. It is, it has moved, and is currently,
How far away is it from me?
looking like it's planning on smacking Zara in the back of her head.
Then I will cast Slashing Gust on the Ifriti and the giant scorpion.
Slashing Gust? What'd that do?
You slash your hand through the air, channeling miniature ripples of air from each finger to slice your enemy. If you have two hands free, you can target two creatures with the spell. Otherwise, make a spell range attack roll against each target's AC. So
Okay.
just woof, woof.
I don't know what Hokage Adamir's been training with, but he's learned some new tricks.
First one will be on Giant Scorpion,
That is a miss.
and second one on Ifriti.
That is a hit. The Ifriti gets slashed by ear, and it seems to be none too happy about it.
And then Roram will bite the downed guy. Giant.
Well, it's now up on its feet, so Roran gets the chance to trip it this time. That is it. 22 good damage.
And he will use his advanced maneuver to prone it.
Yeah, that giant is now on its ass again,
And that's my turn.
having been pulled over by the big bad wolf. There we are. Now we can make Roran the size he should be. Somebody that went and checked things and sent me a DM. Speaking of DMs, it is Preacher.
I don't know that the 3D is there, so I only pre-plan my move. I am going to run at the rock above the 3D, wall jump off that onto the scorpion.
Right. I'm gonna say to avoid an attack of opportunity from the scorpion's tail, that's gonna be a DC 30.
I
Difficult.
think I'm going to end up there roughly.
Let's see, 20 and not a
I
20.
have
That is
55.
entirely correct. So give us a jump, sir. Jump. Boo, 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 boo. Don't roll a 1, because then you're going into the blade barrier. Nope. Preacher does that beautifully. Scorpion tail shoots out, misses completely, and Preacher
Hi.
lands behind the thing.
Remember me? Flurry of blows and another combat grab in a second, and we'll see what the third action is going to be. It depends a little bit on what I have action going.
Gotcha. First one's a miss, but the second one is a hit.
Great. I'm gonna do the damage roll on that one, and then I'm gonna do a whirling throw through his own blade barrier.
Yeesh. Yeah, so Preacher comes up with the blow, planning on grabbing one of the scales in the chest that's kind of loose. Ends up punching its adamantine fist through the chest, grabbing its spine, yeeting it towards Mador so it goes through the blade barrier and just gets completely shredded, and he's still standing there with most of its spine in his hand. It is probably dead.
You're gonna miss this.
Could have had real back problems. I'd actually be happy to not be struggling with him anymore, but yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. Was that my last action, or do I have one left?
Is the whirling throw an action?
Yes,
That was your last action then.
I'm done. Happy.
In which case, speaking of back problems, it is Eodi's turn.
Ooh. Let's see. I am going to go ahead and cast a chromatic ray at the giant in front of me.
Aha. Oh, well, that's a critical. Be a fire ray. Be a fire ray.
It's 40 acid damage.
That's a critical, actually, so that would be 80 acid damage.
Yes,
Ouchies.
orange.
Yeah, this thing is straight up not having a good time. It's been half of its chest and most of its left arm are now just bubbling with acid after Eodi just hits that thing straight up.
Is it still
Straight in
standing?
the chest. It is still standing, though.
I'm going to quicken cast a lightning bolt through him and the homie over there trapped in the web then.
Mm-hmm. That is going to miss Marisol. Yes, go. What's the save on this?
It's a 27 reflex.
27, you say. The giant almost completely dodges it, but it does manage to... you do manage to catch it. And the other bro as well is hit, so... some damage to each of them going... bzzzt. They get zapped.
And that's all three of my actions. Right.
I seem to have skipped the Fiery Eye for some reason. Well, that's my bad. It is now the Ifriti's turn, and it is going to go to town on Zara from behind and being invisible. Because that's just how it rolls.
So, just to note,
First
do
we
your
do
flat
the blur.
checks. And then also, it only gets the flat-footed on the first attack.
Yeah, and the first attack actually goes into the blur, but the second two are going to go into Zara. That is a critical. Good thing for Zara, that was the fist. That is 36 damage, 6 of it fire damage. And Zara is now grabbed and flat-footed. And then it is going to slash at her with its scimitar. But Zara's been in a fight before, being flat-footed. It doesn't slow her down that much. She does manage to block the scimitar with her hammer. It is Mador's turn.
Take it, the Afridi's still invisible?
Nope, it's visible now.
All right, I'm moving in and swinging.
Gotcha. 30, and you are flanking. That is a hit. 17. And that is a hit.
And that's my move.
Smacks it twice. The Afridi injured, but it's an Afridi. They don't go down just because you touch them with steel. It's definitely got a lot of fight in it left. It is Magnus's turn.
Okay, well, Magnus's first turn will be to get back up.
Right.
Athletics?
Yes, sir. Athletics or acrobatics. It's going to be DC 20 for you in full plate. Yep.
Okay.
Boinks straight up. Boinks? Wow, that head cold is slowing down my language. Yeah, he gets straight up.
Close enough. He'll attack the very injured giant with the grieving blade again.
That is a critical. Yeah, blade sweeps out, takes the head straight off the giant. Giant falls down in a geyser of blood, leaving Magnus looking a lot more reddish than he already was.
He's kind of used to it. He takes Magnus will take a 5-foot step towards the other giant.
Right.
And that is my move.
Correctamundo, sir. So that suddenly the initiative list is a lot shorter. The giant here sees spellcaster and decides spellcaster needs to be dead. It is going to slash at EOD 3 times. EOD, however, is notoriously difficult to hit. It hits him with the first blow, but EOD's scales have grown thick and tough, and the sword actually just skitters off the scales. Gives him a little whack in the horn. Might have a crick in his neck tomorrow, but not worse. The second one does manage to hit him. Slashing EOD for 16. And the last one misses, but the giant hisses at him like, I'm gonna take your horns and use them to make a new brass trap. I hate brass dragons. And it is Estrella's turn.
Yep. As usual, trying to tumble behind to get a flanking with Magnus. Right on the shore, it shouldn't be too deep. Usually isn't in an oasis.
Shago,
That is me, sir.
I think you skipped my turn.
I may very well have done that, yes. That sounds like something I would do. We'll give you a bonus one right after Estrella. Yeah, Estrella jumps into the water. Does Estrella have any sort of fire resistance?
Not fire resistance, but I have the underwater marauder, so I'm not flat-footed in the water.
Well, that's good. At least you're not flat-footed, but as Estrella's legs hit in the water, you can see it starts to just fizz and bubble around her. A lot of steam coming up. This water is boiling. It definitely hurts. And Estrella takes 6 fire damage from being scalded.
Yep, we'll add that in a moment. Just going to roll my attack first.
That is a critical.
Woohoo! But I guess I did not succeed to have it flat-footed, or did I manage that?
You did not manage to have it flat-footed.
All right. But it is still a flanking, so this still applies.
It is now very injured. This giant is straight up not having a good time.
Yeah,
Bleeding, reeling on his feet.
but as my feet are starting to hurt here, flanking provides flat-footed. In that case, I'm going to enfeeble.
Yes. You didn't
my-
flat-foot it with your move, but it's still flanked. That is entirely correct.
All right. And instead of twisting the knife, I'm getting the hell out of the water.
Yeah. Estrella's feet are going to be sore in the morning. She might want to get some healing on that before the skin starts peeling off. Then it is Sora's bonus turn.
Well, Zara is going to attempt to break free from the grapple.
31. Let me check this. Thanks. It's a genie, not a giant. How hard could it be? Very, actually. That she does not break free from the grapple. She's very close, though.
I will try again.
She does break free from the grapple.
And then I'm going to swing at its nose.
That makes sense. That checks out. That's a very Sora thing to do. It does, however, see the attack coming and blocks it with its scimitar.
That would be my 3 actions.
Yep, that takes us to Marisol.
Yes, so now that I am in no immediate danger from a scorpion man, and I have my good friend somewhere between me and most enemies, I will deduct that my flaming rifle is not going to do much against an Efreeti. So I will let go of it, and I will pull my royal slug rifle out of my sleeve, literally. And then I will take careful aim and shoot it.
Yep, Marisol is smarter than the average bear, so she can definitely deduct that.
I mean, the thing is on fire. He wouldn't be on fire if it couldn't take fire.
That's a critical.
In addition, it is pushed back.
Yep. 10 feet back, that would be down there. Sadly, that doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity, or that would be a really powerful combo wombo, but still not bad.
I was about to ask.
Yeah.
It should, though. It is moving.
Yeah, but
And it's not
force
first
movement
control.
count.
Force movement don't count.
Mm,
Your
pretty much a
the
good
friendly
idea.
neighborhood rules lawyer is good for both you and me.
Of course.
Force
Actually,
movement
good.
into walls is actually hilarious, though, because it counts as fall damage.
Oh,
Nice.
handy dandy to know that as well. And that takes us to yes, this lady who looks over at its Efreeti friend having trouble, and she is just going to yep. That actually won't work. She's not going to drop a flame strike then. She's just going to drop a fireball onto Mador and Zara. That's going to be a DC 33 reflex save. So Mador actually saves and takes half, only 20 fire damage for Mador and 40 fire damage for Zara.
Zara goes down.
And then this thing turns to smoke and just glides out of the what's it called? Web. However, as it is coming in its smoke form, that's going to be DC 34 fortitude save for Roran and Magnus. The choking red hot smoke.
Nice.
Oh dear. Magnus is sickened 3, Roran is sickened 6. Roran is really struggling. His poor nose. Getting hit with that hellacious smoke cloud was not particularly pleasant for him. And Magnus is pretty sickened as well. I don't think we've actually had anybody be that sickened before. But he's also struggling to breathe and coughing. Generally not having a good time. No, sickened 33. Fantasy grounds, behave. Minus 33 on everything. It's going to be very difficult for Magnus to get anything done. And then back in her regular initiative, it is Zara. Because we skipped her last turn. I have no idea what you're doing.
I got downed by the firewall.
Ah, handy. Well, Zara is dying.
So there's my first save.
Yep, Zara is busy I'd say bleeding out, but that's not really correct after being hit by fire. She's busy slowly cooking on the ground in her own juices. Speaking of cooking, it is Edamir's turn.
I will start out by sustaining and try to hit the dinge, or the Ifriti.
Yep.
So basic reflex save.
I'm assuming you were going for Jin, and we ended with Dinge. I also do these things. Yep, it takes the hit full in the face.
And then, since it's hot and I also need to move, I'm going to do something new also. I'm going to dive and breach. I'm going to make the briefest of dives through the elemental plane of water. So I move 10 feet. Well, leap 10 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Going to come out. Darn, I thought I was a little bit closer. That's fine. I'll come out there.
Cannot
End up there.
Cannot see on my map where you want to go. Fancy Grounds is being weird again.
Ah, nice.
Just mark it with your rangefinder, and I'll move you there. Use the laser. It is just straight up being difficult today. Can't see that either. We may have to convert to something else at some point. If it keeps getting worse and worse. We never had these issues campaign 1.
I'll come out there.
Okay, comes diving out of the elemental plane of water.
And then it'll leap me 10 feet that way.
Yeah, okay, nice.
And since they were in one of the pools where I leapt out or leapt in, it's a reflex save for 3d10 bludgeoning.
Ah, that's an interesting spell. Sure doesn't see that coming and actually takes the full force of that spell. Gets just knocked in its stomach there.
Then Roram will attack the other giant.
Okay. That's a hit. Nom nom nom. This giant is not having a good time.
And he will advance maneuver to prone it.
And the giant is prone again. Okay.
And that'll be my turn.
Speaking of people who like things prone, it is Preacher's turn.
Well, I am really not happy about things, but I'm standing around waving spines. I mean, gotta be good about that. So I'm gonna try and do the reversing movement and rolling up the rock next to me and get over to the Ifriti by the shortest route.
Mm-hmm. That is a success.
And probably going to start off with a classic Fleur Blows combat grab, and then we'll see what the second option is going to be.
Go for it. That is, let's see, doom, checking. First one's a miss, second is a hit.
Excellent. Then that person, the burning thing is
Grabbed.
Grabbed, yeah.
Flat-footed, yes, it is grabbed. You are not doing any fire damage to it with your stance, though. Does not care one bit.
Yeah, but
No,
still
but
going to
it
beat
has
on it.
to do 8 extra damage because we are awesome.
Indeed. Team Sniper with +8 on that one.
Jeez. Yeah, the 3D is very, very injured now. You can see it's starting to kind of flicker. It's struggling to keep itself in the
Last attack.
In this dimension. Oh dear. And
probably lost it then.
With the last attack, Preacher goes to grab it and tries to give it a real hard kick in the head. I'm going to need a new attack roll from Preacher and a reflex save from Edamir to avoid being hit by it. Edamir does dodge it. Yeet! And it's not kicked into the boiling pool by Preacher. He'd probably feel really bad while he ate fox for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yodi.
All right. Eody's going to give a sly wink to the giant who said she was going to make him into a bra. And I'm going to dimension door over here next to Zara.
Right. Boink. Assuming roughly there is where you want to be.
Yeah, that works. And then I'm going to apply minor elixir of healing to Zara.
Right, so that is what? 66 plus 40?
Hold on. I never actually drink them myself, so I have to look it up. Hold on. It's 3d6 plus 6 hit points.
3d6 plus 6, so Zara gets... man, I'm on a roll today. 22 hit points back.
And that would be my turn.
Right. The Afridi, not really super happy with what's going on right now. Is first going to go invisible.
Am I still holding on to...
Nope, you dropped it when you almost kicked Edamir into the lake. And, well, you have no idea where he went. It is Mador's turn.
I don't see the Afridi at all, huh?
Nope. Don't went and wasn't invisible again.
Wish my Arcana would help on this one, but I don't think so. And I can't see anything else.
You can do one action to seek in a 30-foot burst to try to make it hidden instead of undetected.
What is that again, Quinn?
You can try to roll perception and in a
Okay.
30-foot area around you to see if you can kind of figure out where it is.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Give us a perception roll. Yo. And so on. Sorry, I'm full of sugar today.
Quick perception roll.
You're entirely certain it's not within 30 feet.
It's a 30-foot burst, so 30 foot in each direction.
Yes. It is not within 30 feet of you in any direction. Not up, not down, not sideways.
I can't see anything on the other side of the map, I take it, because all I can see is roaring from where I'm at.
Yep, you're going to have to move to get to the line of sight.
Well, I'm going to dimension door beside roaring.
Okay, then. Nope. And suddenly there's a... let's see. Suddenly there's a Mador just kind of stepping out of reality. Runes on his armor glowing. You can almost hear like a bald eagle shrieking proudly as he comes out, cloak billowing, and the sun shining from his burnished blue and gold plate armor.
And is that giant within range of my hit?
It is.
Then I'm going to swing.
Somewhere a patriot sheds a happy tear. There we go, and swing and a hit. The giant has a sort of confused look on its face. It doesn't really know where you came from or how you did that, but it's going to wonder that until it dies, which is about 1.5 seconds after Mador steps out of that portal. It is Magnus's turn. Actually, Mador has Dimension Door.
No, that
He has
was-
one more action.
No, I had the perception.
Yeah, my bad.
Yep.
It is Magnus's turn.
Okay. Magnus is going to step 15 foot up to that fire kai.
Very well. That will
Um,
actually take you into its square right now, so it's either damn it, fancy grounds, here or here or here.
Whichever is next to Estrella, I think, if that's in striking range.
It is. That
Thank you.
fills these 4 squares, basically.
Okay. He's then going to give it a strike with the Grieving Blade.
Yeah, it easily parries that with its katana.
Okay. Okay, he's just going to raise his shield.
Right.
Oh.
The heat from the south suddenly intensifies to the point where it's difficult to look at it. There is a man, a human, it looks like, dark, bushy, or dark black beard and ringlets, kind of floating like a river down his chest. Bald head, just wearing like an Egyptian type of short skirt and nothing else, floating about 100 feet from the ground. He floats down towards you, fixes Estrella with his gaze. You, Estrella, why? Why do you flee, wife? You could live in comfort. Will I have to incinerate every one of your companions before you understand? It is with me you are supposed to be.
Who would want to be a slave, especially to you?
To me? Why, I hardly ever beat any slave. I feed my people twice per week, even the poorest and weakest of slaves. You know this. I am a kind man. I have not killed you yet. I could, easily enough. But I do not wish to. Tell me, why is it so important to you to go to where you came from? It can't just be going back to what you were doing, mercenary's life, sleeping on the ground, eating potatoes, cavorting around with... He looks at the party. Creatures?
You would never understand.
Try. Tell me, what world-shaping important event is it that you are working on? Are you protecting perhaps a dozen sheep or so somewhere? Maybe someone's daughter has fallen in a well. What is it you're doing that is so important? You cannot return. Your sisters miss you. I even had to dispatch my chief concubine, Amarensu, to come fetch you. And he nods to the spirit, the Oni, fire Oni, standing next to you, she has gone down on all fours and has her forehead to the ground in front of him.
I am protecting those dear to me, as well as my freedom. You've never been a slave. And my freedom is something you will never again take from me. And you should try potatoes, they're tasty.
He looks confounded for a moment. Take your freedom from you? Do you not know? You, a descendant of the tyrants, what would befall you if I had not shielded you and your kin? Freedom, you say. We must all serve in our way. The immortal tyrants, if they knew of you, my house, my dynasty, it would be destroyed in an instant. But perhaps this freedom, I have never tasted it. You do not grow to my power in this land without the immortal tyrants keeping an eye on you. But you, perhaps, your freedom might give me a little taste of it. Besides, there is an energy to you, all of you. Something rotten. What have you been fighting?
The undead.
Quiet, peasant, I did not ask you. And you see Magnus is just enveloped in chains of fire. I'm having a civil conversation with my wife. Do not interrupt me again, or I will incinerate you from the hips down.
Let him go now. Unlike you who's speaking the truth, we were fighting undead. Before you you just ripped us from a really nice evening.
Actually, no, I do not think I would let him go. You are being very rude. Perhaps incinerating him would give you an understanding that you cannot speak to your husband that way. It is very rude. But before I take this red-haired cretin and turn him into a charcoal briquette, I wish to know, you have not just been fighting undead, you have been fighting something different. What is it? Answer now, wife, or I might get impatient and lose control of my magics. Things tend to turn to glass in a large area around me when these things happen.
Shard of Ixtap.
There were rumors. There were rumors that this was a thing. That there was a new creature trying to become Lord of Undeath, as if Ixtab herself. She has never held power here in Zebes. The immortal tyrants have always been too powerful for her to control. Still, I think my masters would agree that were I to send you as my agent into the lands of wherever the hell you've been, it would be amenable to them. But I will need some sort of link so I know. I'm not particularly interested in what you're doing or who you're betting. I mean, we were never exclusive. I have 900 other wives. But someone will have to give me the intelligence that I need. Yeah. Twirls his fingers, and a glowing red eye appears. Now, it could be you, it could be somebody else, but I will need to implant this eye on someone so that I can see what you're fighting and tell my masters about this.
That is not the type of eye upgrade I want.
Estrella looks over her shoulder to the others. You're not going to hurt any of them.
It is.
Zara's gonna stand up out of the sand. I'll take the damn eye if it'll get you to leave us alone.
No. Let the other druid roar in the wolf. He can take it.
A child of the wind. Very well. He floats down towards Zara. This will hurt. Not at all, really. I am a master of my craft.
I told you not to!
It is childish of you, wife, to tell me what to do when you have no way of influencing what will happen. Quiet now. And He looks at Sara. Are you willing to take this eye to be my vision when you fight these creatures?
So be it.
Very well then. And he just kind of flicks his fingers, and Sara's left eye is now just looks like a portal into flames. Doesn't hurt at all. He was correct about that. There we are. Oh, I have things to do and wives to please. I feel this conversation is over. Best of luck to you, wife. Try not to get killed. It would look bad for my house. And then you find yourselves standing on the streets of Ravensbridge again.
Am I back with my table, or am I standing with my people?
You are standing the way you guys are standing now. You can see guards running about, trying to find you all.
Can someone please explain to me what happened?
I don't know. One moment I was, out with Zara, and the next we were there.
Estrella is just standing there right now, shaking with anger.
Magnus puts his hand on her shoulder. I think a drink is in order, and maybe a wee chat.
I have things to finish first.
Aye, I've got things to tell you as well. So, things I should have told you before. Take care and dinna be long.
So did someone miss their own ceremony?
How long have we been gone?
Preacher looks around and actually tries to locate somebody to ask that very question. Still waving the spine around in his fist.
Yeah, he's standing there with a bloody spine now. Most of you are covered in blood. And you can hear Giselle finish her words. And now, I believe Master Preacher has a depth speech to give. And then the rocks clatter to the ground. And everybody looks somewhat confused.
Well, I think a short explanation is in order. Marquesa, would you mind? And I wave with the spine to take 2 steps back from the stage edge.
Do you point to her?
Yeah, basically I point off to the side, so I don't point to her, but I walk over towards her and basically try and pretend the spine doesn't exist, and quietly voice to her. We had a bit of a summons from an unfriendly entity that we had a very short discussion with. I will tell you all about it, but I probably should give the speech now. Right.
Yes, indeed. Speech. It's been an interesting week for a couple of weeks for everybody. The fact that the spine suddenly appeared in your hand is hardly worse than what we've seen the rest of this week. So, please, Master Preacher, it does not need to be long. It does not need to be eloquent, but it does need to be held.
I deposit the spine somewhere where I can retrieve it later, turn around and walk to center stage and look out over the men of clay and the people gathered. So, we have come to a point of time in which rebuilding is necessary. This is something the men of clay will assist both the city and the Marquesa in achieving. We will serve as the monastic order, safeguard her line and her well-being. We will also assist the city in what we can, and everyone who wishes to learn our precepts are welcome. The monastic order will have open days where you can train with us, where you can learn, where you can find calmness in these troublesome times. We will not turn away people from learning what we can offer. We are not, as such, a army of people, but we are a force that will try and help people find some sanity in these times. The men of clay, and indeed the ladies, will try and assist and help as much as we can where we can. And I bow to the Marquesa and turn away.
Sorry, something in my throat. Perfect timing there. Yeah, the Marquesa turns to Mador and says, also, it is my pleasure to announce that the Knights of the Golden Wyvern have been reinstated with Sir Mador of Ravensbridge as its Grand Master. I pledge the resources of myself and my house to the rebuilding of this famed order. However, as walls seem to have started exploding, I think it is best that we end this speech tonight and reconvene here at a date when the furniture no longer is quite as easy to detonate. Tonight, all taverns in Ravensbridge can start a tab, and once the morning sun rises, my bailiff's bill will be around to pay it on behalf of Ravensbridge. It is a night for celebration. Be gone now. There's ale to drink and meat to eat. Do not stand here dilly-dallying while you could be drinking and eating on my dime. And she gives a big smile, and the peasants rejoice. Yay! And start scattering to find the nearest tavern or pub.
I'm gonna look around and see if I find out how far it is from where I was snatched from my date.
You'd be about 5-minute walk away.
Well, then I'm gonna run there instead, so it's like 2 minutes.
Right. What are the rest of you gonna do?
I'm going to get ready to hunt my water wraith.
Right.
Estrella sneaking away back to Bruno. She has things to finish and information to relay.
Very well.
Preacher will collect the spine and then talk to Ebert, as well as Chastity, as well as any other men of clay that are currently around, and probably walk over to the new barracks that we have been assigned and try and make sense out of this whole situation.
Right. So we'll go with Estrella first. Back in to Bruno. I mean, you've barely been gone for a moment, but as you enter, Bruno and Martin are standing there like, well, this is interesting. That was not the sort of spell they usually cast on a lowly slave officer. As you're still alive, although a bit singed, I assume you have a fun story to tell us.
Well, not very fun, but probably informative. My group and I were just whooped away to Zeeks.
Oh, and you arrived back alive. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, kinda, I guess. Apparently, someone over there is pretty interested in me being alive, but I forced, you could say, a spy eye on one of my companions. He's very powerful. Name's Itada Sadum or something. Claims to be my husband.
You see the midnight elf mage kind of pales and goes a bit gray at the name. Did you say Iltasadum?
I think that's what he called himself. What about it?
Well, first of all, you have, and he holds up a mirror so that Estrella can now see the tattoos spreading out her cheeks and down her jawline and up her forehead. You're marked as a Cebesian noble currently. Not low nobility either. Iltasadum is he's known as the Warden of the South, one of the 4 premier generals of the Immortal Tyrants, a field marshal, perhaps, if we were to compare it to a rank in Golden Glens, but he's a couple of centuries old, human as far as we know, but with the Immortal Tyrants, it's impossible to say how they keep him alive. And quite possibly one of the most powerful pyrokineticists, at least on this continent, maybe in the world.
Well, he did threaten to incinerate us all.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't, or this would have been a very disappointing. This would have been a very disappointing investiture. However, you seem to have survived. The spell on it's carved into your skull, you see. It'll be very difficult to remove. It will allow him to know where you are, but the portal that allowed him to summon you back, that was in the skin. If it had been still connected to your face or your body, that would probably have summoned only you, but as it was currently disconnected, it summoned everybody you've spent a significant amount of time with.
So that won't happen again?
Not if we can help it. You see, we have magical tattoos of our own. We won't be able to hide you from him, but we will be able to hide you from spells looking for you.
Good. What about the one on my wrist?
It's a very, very complex ritual spell used by the Immortal Tyrants to make certain that they're I'd say followers, but everybody not an Immortal Tyrant in Thebes is a slave of some sort or other. Even Iltasarum himself. If it were allowed to connect the entire way around your wrists, both of them, you would be completely unable to disobey the order of anybody of a higher rank than yourself from Thebes. However, you're currently marked as and he goes and looks in a book, lights a pipe, looks a bit more. 17th wife of Iltasadum, meaning it would have to be him or the 16th wife telling you what to do. Or one of the Immortal Tyrants themselves, in which case I believe you will be in bigger trouble than just having to do what they say.
That is at least something good out of that.
It is connected to your weapons, so if you anytime you use those, the tattoos will grow.
Well, better not use them then. About that eye that he forced on my companion.
We need to see your companion to say anything about it, but if it was Iltasadum, well, his power is on the limit of what you can have and still be called human. It may be more akin to the gift granted by a powerful fae or demon, or celestial for that matter.
Well, in that case, be careful which information you share around Zara Alpadu.
Ah. That's a name we already had on our list. It'll be sad to have to strike her from it, but I'm certain she'll find a way to be useful. Even with as far as we know, immortal
There's always
pyrokineticist looking out through her eye.
there's always the option to share misinformation.
See, you're starting to think like we want you to already. I approve of this. For now, though, we have a long night ahead of us of questions and magical rituals. It is better that we start now. I must warn you, nothing tonight will happen that you do not agree to, but you will not remember most of it in the morning. It is just another layer of security. If you were to be captured, you won't be able to tell the enemy how we keep our secrets.
Seeing who I am going to go against, that is probably for the better. Let's go on.
Yes, we have many things to discuss. And on that note, we're jumping to Marisol, who comes running into Walther.
Sorry about that. Can I have a new glass, please?
Already ordered one for you. Also, I asked them to delay our food until you came back.
Thank you.
This seems to be a fairly common occurrence with the company you keep.
Yeah, we went to a desert and we fought some fiery lady and a few giants and a scorpion dude. I'm gonna need more than one glass, I think.
Well, it's a good thing with the payment we have gotten from our mercenary work that we can afford many drinks. Although I hear that
Oh, you
we are
haven't
drinking
heard?
and eating for free today.
Exactly.
But I see you've been in battle. Allow me. And he says a few magic words, and Marisol feels freshly washed. Her clothes also freshly washed, although her teeth have probably never been quite that clean. It feels kind of weird.
Thank you. Well, touching them with my tongue. That's a new experience.
It takes a while to get used to, yeah.
So you won't believe the interesting, I'm guessing around 5 minutes since I left, but it was rather long yet where we went. And I'm recounting the story.
Yeah. You're fed a fantastic course of oysters. Some sort of crustacean that's native to the swamps, boiled with lots of vegetables and spices, and ending it all off with a beautiful rack of lamb.
This is nice. It sure beats whatever we got on campaign.
Well, we eat campaign foods when we're fighting, so we can eat this while we're relaxing. But
I like that.
I understand that you'll be leaving fairly soon. Let's see. At least I assume as much, with now consorting with the Grand Masters of Knightly Orders and city marshals.
You know, it's just how things are, and things have gone fast since I left Green Hill. It feels so long ago, but it hasn't been all that long, really.
Well, how about we end the evening down at the Hairy Satyr's Donkey? I hear they have a fantastically old magic mirror, and I'd like to see it for myself.
I'd love to.
Well, he rises and offers an arm to... Let's be off then.
She takes us and follow.
And on that note, we're off to Magnus and... No, not Magnus. Is there anybody that has a scene they want to do? If not, we're gonna spill it over until the next day.
Preacher probably, when he tries to turn around and leave the stage, will draw attention to people that may be close by, and the fact that he has quite a substantial wounds, as in rifts and break damage on his chest.
Yep, Magnus will hurry over and attend to him.
Up with the green stuff and the super glue.
That's the one.
Well, Preacher's definitely going to be feeling good enough in the morning again.
Thank you, Magnus. It's better now.
Aye, well, I can treat you again in about 10 minutes, but in the meantime, I need a drink. It's been a very confusing day.
I can understand that, and yes, but I need to go and settle my guards in their new place and try and get a little bit of a head start on things before everything gets rolling.
Of course you do, my friend. Off you go. I'll go find a bar.
Enjoy. And then I try and find Ebert, as well as Chastity and any other senior staff with the Men of Clay.
Yes. They're all present. Very easy to find.
Right, I sit down on the side of the stage basically and just talk to them, waving the spine about and kind of making the points with it. Everett, we need to sort out who goes where and who's going to be part of the guard, especially for the good Marquesa. We are going to have to come up with some kind of recruiting plan to fill out our ranks, but also, unless it wasn't understood, we're not going to accept anyone from the city to become a guard at once. We're going to filter for moral stature, and you know the drill.
Yes, I am aware. I'll get it done, Sensei. There is faith came to me. Some of the citizens have been looking for their children at the orphanarium. Quite many, in fact. But the children were never actually delivered to the orphanarium.
No, they seem to have been taken through another portal to somewhere else. We are unable this time to find out where, but we haven't given up.
No, Master, you misunderstand me. Those children, they are in the orphanarium's records. But according to the Mother Superior, at least 40 children, and it looks like there's going to be more, have been collected by ladies saying that they came from the orphanarium, but they have never been actually delivered there. as the marshal of the city, this is something you're going to have to look at, and well, us as well. I've been
Indeed.
talking to them. Most of them say, all of them are young girls, aged between 7 and 11. All of them, so far that I've talked to, the mothers speak of them having terrible nightmares. They attributed it to the city being under siege. But they all spoke of a tall, thin woman, purple in skin, showing up in their dreams. And then telling them they were going to come home soon.
It never stops. Exactly how many have you been told about? You said around about 40? There were exactly 40?
Let me check. He pulls up a tablet he's been writing on with chalk. We're up to 43 now. I hope that's going to be all, but I suspect it will not.
Oh, me
One
neither.
of the women, an apothecary, she spoke of smelling sweet, cloying smell from the nun who came to collect her daughter. What did she call it? Happy weed, I think. She was quite distraught.
Yeah, I've heard that before. When did this occur? During the last day or night?
No, in the week leading up to the walls being breached. From what we understand, after the walls were breached, nothing happened. But these women, their men were soldiers or city guard or otherwise needed, and they themselves were in professions where they were also needed for the defense. Surgeons, medics, apothecaries, blacksmiths, fletchers. They believed that the orphanarium would keep their daughters safe while they both worked.
And it is only daughters that's been taken.
Aged between 7 and 11 so far, as the records show.
Very well. If I were to ask you where in the city, is spread all out through the city or district special?
Oh, yes. You're a genius, Master. We could see if this has been gathered in some specific... I will find the map and start colluding the data, I believe it's called.
You are proving a treasure, my friend, and I appreciate that a lot. When you're gathering this information, could you also... this is going to be impossible, but I was wondering if there is a way for the people to have been taken out of the city. But since most of the guards are dead, I don't think their records exist anymore on the different gates being used or not.
I do not know, sir. I will. And he suddenly just stands still and sort of goes speechless.
Don't worry about it. Are you right?
And a large gauntleted hand just laid on Preacher's right shoulder.
I look up.
Yeah, standing about twice as tall as Preacher is an automaton made in the shape of a very, very heavily armed gnomish warrior with you can see he's made out of some sort of greenish looking bronze. Incredibly intricate carvings on him, and carrying a black axe made out of well, it's difficult to say what material, but you can feel sort of a cold emanating from it. He looks down at Preacher and says, Pneumataforos, we will speak later. Now I must see the Marquesa. Then he moves up towards the keep, even at that size and what must be weighing about at least 5 times as much as Preacher. You can't actually hear him walk on the cobblestone as he moves up.
Yeah. Champion. Okay. I turn back to Everett and nonchalantly, because actually Preacher is not too impressed by many things, but this one maybe. Also, Preacher doesn't have much of a facial expression to go with. Everett, refocus.
Yes, master.
I will have words with the good champion later, and those will be very interesting, no doubt. Gather your information, and we'll speak soon. If you could detail someone to find wherever Magnus went to, and just have him be informed of this. I think he's the only one I can easily find at the moment.
Find Magnus, yes.
Yeah, tell him the information you gave me, and if Matter is about, and you can find him as well. I think the others are going to be impossible to find now.
Yes, master.
All right, the others, please ensure that the barracks are used and appointed as appropriate, and set up some kind of starting schedule for guards for the Marquesa.
Yes, master. I took the liberty of putting faith in the first shift.
That is a good choice. Chastity for the moment is going to remain with me. I need to have a lot more instruction with her before she's able to determine things such as proper action and not.
Yes, master.
And if we are departing soon and going to leave the city for any kind of reason, I would like to have 5 of our apprentices along so I can help them along with certain instruction. I don't need the most promising. I just need to have a few with me to try and pass on what we learn.
Yes, master. He is starting to look kind of overwhelmed, writing on both sides of his blackboard now, little chalkboard.
I'll release him from it and basically sit there and go, much to think on.
Speaking of Chastity, master, she's here to see you.
Oh, Lord. Yep. Look over to her then.
Yeah, she comes in. You can see she's gathered herself. I've gotten a messenger bag out of seems like fairly cheap, just sailcloth. But she seems giddy. Yeah. And she's also got a necklace around with like leaves and looks like what might be a homemade holy symbol of Apollo. Like Master Preacher, I need. You need. I must have a job. So you must tell me how I get one.
Do you wish to earn a living, as in earn coin, or do you wish to perform some kind of service, as in work?
I must have coin. I need to buy. It's. I've been looking through these historical documents that one of the maids at the tavern has. And the elves, they do such amazing things. Did you know they fold their swords 10,000 times and one can cut straight through an iron golem? I need to buy one of these blades.
That is true. They do make amazing crafts. We will find a proper trade for you, I suppose. But we need to have more of a conversation regarding your talents as such. So we need to discover what you're good at and see
Yes.
if we can.
I want to do this. And then she pulls out a magazine. You can see it's The Illustrated Adventures of Lyle and Nashiram, issue number 36. I want to be like them. And on the cover, there's a halfling, very buff-looking, handsome-looking halfling with an obviously elven sword cutting straight through an iron golem in the middle.
Oh. Yeah, you're thinking of a dramatic hero earning money that way?
Read it with me and I'll show you.
Very well. I put the spine aside, bloody and everything, and begin reading the tales of Lyle and basically being a good father mentor to Chastity and help her discover the possibilities of her newfound occupation.
Oh, and I need to learn to speak Elvish. It's a superior language to anything else.
We will work on that too, but remember one thing. Things are not made in one day, and we will have a long path ahead of us. You will get there, whatever profession you choose.
Right. On that note, we're going to take a 12-minute break. We'll be back at 8:45 p.m. in 12 minutes so that people can get something to drink and eat. I'll be back with you all in a moment. There we are. Welcome back, everybody. I had a small dog that needed to pee, so break time went a bit long, but we are back to it. Unless anybody has any more scenes they want to play during that evening, we are going to go to next morning. So if there are any, feel free to tell me right about now. No? Perfect. In which case, next morning, you are back at the Rusty Kettle Inn, where Preacher and Sarah and Iodi are currently the first ones awake, being served Hexpresso, some sort of green tea that Chastity asked for, although she just picks it up and scurries into her room after having picked up a couple more issues of the illustrated adventures of Lyle and Nasharam. So, Preacher, Sarah, and Iodi are gathered around the breakfast table. It is early, the sun is still not up, but it'll be up in the next half hour or so. Y'all have gotten good rest, even so.
Oof,
I
that
am.
was
Carry on.
that was a interesting ceremony. How did you fare?
Well, I got some interesting information about potential hag covens in the area. Watched a man get murdered for swatting wine out of my hand, and then ended up in a desert in Zebes and fire for an eye.
Master Yodi?
Yodi thinks that we should have more ceremonies like this. It was very exciting. And he is portioning out healing elixir for the day.
Oh, many thanks, Master Yodi. I would appreciate a little bit less excitement for just the one day, and but the next day we can have a different kind of excitement, definitely. Regarding the hag, by the way, there have been reports of 40 and more female human children being kidnapped. I think it's only human, but I might be wrong. I am still getting the reports. Being kidnapped by a being with a bluish tint to her skin. Reportedly being taken, the kids are being taken back to the orphanage, and this was in the week prior to the siege, to be kept safe, and they never arrived at the orphanage.
I'll have you know that I've been involved in no child kidnappings, especially not the week prior.
Yeah, no, I am merely stating that the substance that was used or implied by one of the people that were witness to this was that kiss drug that basically makes them more docile.
Yes, Smileyweed.
Yes.
Unfortunately, my primary lead in that direction was murdered by someone else, a gentleman that was well dressed.
I'm hoping to get a little bit more information this morning or during the day. We might be able to gather something and find something. But it was the week before the siege, and pretty much all the records of people trying to leave the city might be hard to get now.
Oh, Renecker, that was his name. So if you have your contacts find anything about a gentleman by the name of Renecker, that would continue our lead into who is importing Smiley weed illicitly into town.
I will have my people. This is a weird statement. My people keep on the lookout for such rumors, and I'm not sure we can want active investigation in this man, or do you think that's worthwhile? Will it spook him?
It would likely spook him, and he is a fair shot with a handgun. So, extreme caution around the individual would be.
Then I will simply ask my people, the men of clay, regarding any rumors being passed on to them, rather than actively asking about the gentleman. It never rains; it always pours.
Eodi intends to walk about the town a bit today. Perhaps he can find something about this. It appears these people have a tendency to reach out to Eodi.
I am getting a map made up of all the kidnappings and the places in town, so that might be of help for you.
As you're speaking, you hear giggling outside the door, and Marisol walks in. You can see her gun belt is actually on backwards.
You're up early.
The captain
You're up late.
appears to have had a good night.
Yeah, I did.
I'm sure it was very restful.
Yeah, I did not plan on just going up to bed and not see anyone at all. Nope.
Your belt's on backwards.
Thanks. She giggles more and turns it around.
Here's a shot of morning espresso.
Thank you. She downs it and just signals that she wants another one.
I have a little bit of information for you, but I'll wait until we have a few more of our party collected for the morning breakfast. I just told our two other friends here.
She slumps down in a chair, and it's obvious she's gonna fall asleep pretty soon if she's not been kept in a espresso.
All right, we asked the serving staff to bring us more of the brew, as well as waiting for the rest of the party to appear for breakfast.
Yeah, next one to enter is Estrella, actually. Looking a slight blush. Looking healthy and quite happy.
Morning.
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 So, what's going on this morning?
Kidnappings.
Murder.
So, business as usual?
Nah, it sounds
Depends
pretty
on
lame compared to usual.
it depends on what you want to call this. The kidnappings might be something leading up to something else, so it might be bigger than expected.
Now, I mean, we do have a trace with this coffin caravan, and what's going on with her? Pointing to Marisol.
I'm probably not sober yet because I haven't slept. You want anything more?
Yep, with the talk and the clatter of things being prepared, people are starting to wake up. Next one coming in is Mador, covered with a light sheen of sweat after his morning workout. You hear a little like titter, and Chastity's door slams shut when Medor comes in.
Good lord.
Morning.
Rivers of blood, and now I have to. Teenagers.
What was that picture?
Oh, nothing. It's fine. It's all fine. It's perfectly fine.
Enjoy it while you can, lest it gets snatched away from you.
Yeah, indeed. So, yeah, where's Magnus?
He comes out of the door, yawning.
Perfect.
Aye, sorry. I was awake a little later than I planned. Ah, is that espresso? Can I have one?
Yes.
Thank you, preacher. Now, I take it you've got some news for us.
Before the siege, from about a week before to basically right until the siege, number of young ones, children aged 7 to 11, was snatched. I think it was only females. We're getting that confirmed by a blue-skinned individual who were telling the mothers that their children were taken to the orphanage for safekeeping. All of the fathers were in the watch, basically, and busy, and the mothers were called upon other duties during the day. So it seemed a valid reason for parting ways. They never got there. And whether this is the same kidnapper as the orphanarium, I don't know. Either way, we have a problem here. I'm trying to get more information, and as well as locations of the kidnappings.
I'm just going to say that in all of our adventures, the only blue-skinned people we've met are myself and the Shards of Ixtab, and I highly doubt that the Shards of Ixtab are going door to door knocking.
Well, a
No,
better
that
description would
absolutely
help.
does not seem like that, no.
I could check with Mother Superior on the 20 children that also was ported out to see what their age and what they were, if you want me to.
Depending on, I'm trying to remember what my closest lieutenant, if that's the word, I even got to come up in rank soon. Ebert said there were different reports: blue or purple skinned, white hair.
Sounds like a midnight elf.
And rather tall and gangly.
And those shards of Ixtab, they felt really wrong, didn't they?
So, was the person going to door the tall, gangly, purple or blue person? You would think that the parents might be confused about that being the representative of a church here.
Indeed. That's the problem. I was a little bit overtaken by the events, so I wasn't able to get a good sense of it. But they were also talking about some kind of nightmares. So whether the person actually appeared in the nightmares or appeared on the doorstep, I am not entirely sure. I need to get a bit more information from Ebert, collected more calmly instead of right after a battle.
Yeah, please do. It's definitely not a good idea to sit on this. Gods. She knocks back 2 more espressos.
Zara goes stock still and starts scanning the room.
Yeah, sorry, I can see an eye staring out from one of the corners, floating in the air, and as it pulls back, she gets a good look at a horned, very, very gangly and terribly ugly individual as she pulls back from the spell and ends it. Iori also detects the magic.
We are being watched.
Huh?
Of course we are, pointing to Zara.
Hags.
Oh,
Oh.
gods.
That's what you mean.
We are being watched by someone we do not know is watching us. I apologize.
It's all
Thank you
right.
for clarifying.
Are they here or are they somewhere else or whatever? Yeah.
If they were here, it would have gotten much messier, I imagine.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I couldn't handle the stench of a hag right now. Starting to grow slightly green, somewhat hungover more than drunk still.
Yeah, you should get a good breakfast and some sleep, I guess. And she's turning towards a waitress or someone and says, she needs a hangover breakfast, please.
Oh yes, we have the perfect thing. Takes about 15 minutes. So you're probably talking while that happens, but they enter with some very spicy sauce, baked crayfish, and some sort of like donuts, but the top's been cut off them, and then some of the middle has been scooped out and filled with cream, and then the top has been put back on. And in addition to a dwarven remedy, which from the smell of it is a combination of dwarven rubbing alcohol, vinegar, and an old sock.
I would like a fortitude save, please.
Yes, that sounds like a good idea right about now. Oh no. Marisol's gonna spend Marisol's gonna spend some time calling long distance on the porcelain telephone for sure.
I sprint towards the bathroom.
I suspect that hag is looking for my alter ego.
Your alter ego?
Look, you don't do shady deals looking like yourself.
Makes sense. So you have an assumed name?
No, but I have many descriptions. Curiously, though, the hag peeked in and then left. So it's like it was looking for descriptions.
Also, I believe it was aware that we were aware it was looking. Probably decided it was time to leave. I do not think that I do not think it will make itself known easily, so I believe that Iodi will continue with his jaunt about town. If there is nothing else, I do not believe our captain will be of much help to us today.
You hear something that sounds sort of like a dying kraken from the bathroom area.
I think you're right, Theody.
Well, I will be talking to Ebert and seeing if I can find him regarding more able descriptions of this creature and the happenstances, and as well as a map. I will also be checking out our old tower, because apparently that was one of the targets of the invasion, and I wish to see if there was success or if it managed to stay in one piece.
I'll go look for Ibrahim. Maybe there have been more caravans that were suspicious going out.
I'll go with you. Do we have a tower? Nobody mentioned this.
We do.
I'll be interested to see it some other time.
It's spooky but homely.
Sounds perfect. I grew up in Santerre. It doesn't get much spookier.
Hopefully, you're comfortable with ghosts.
No, comfortable enough.
I'll head to the orphanarium and talk to Mother Superior and see if I can get some information of the 20 children that was portaled out of there.
Very
And maybe
well.
the adults, because I believe some adults are portaled out of there too.
Right. So we'll skip forward a bit to a scene with Magnus and Estrella.
So, I think we have a few things to say to each other.
Go ahead.
I probably should have said this last night. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I've been very attracted to you since the moment we met. And then we had all that fuss and decided to be friends, and, well, I don't know. There's a chance of something more. But I have something I need to do if you're wanting just more than a casual relationship. When I buried my wife and daughters, I didn't get to grieve. And my son struck me hard. I went to see the mother because I need her to hold a ceremony for me so that I can remember them and let go of the grief and let them go. And then maybe I can move on with an open heart. I don't know if this is something you're interested in, or am I just wasting my breath?
Well, apparently, I am married to someone with 900 wives. Which I never agreed to, but, slave and everything. Just one question.
What would you like to know?
Yesterday,
Aye.
would that be a more common occurrence?
Now, what exactly are you asking, Estrella? Are you asking, are attractive women in robes of red and gold and blue and gold going to come up and make me offers, or ask me about my duty, or ask me other questions? It might happen again.
I'm not. I don't mean about that. You're handsome enough that they are attracted to you. No doubt about that.
That's as maybe. What do you want to know then?
If you are actually going to accept those offers.
Estrella, I left last night because I needed the mother's help. If it hadn't been for that, no, I wouldn't have gone. Does that answer your question?
I think it does.
I had an interesting relationship with Brienne. Yeah. We followed our passions as followers of Socia should. But we always came back to each other. So the notion of you being one of 900 wives, yeah, monogamy was never my strong suit, you know. So it doesn't bother me. Unless you want a divorce, in which case, haven't met your husband. Hi. Might need something with a lot more power to tackle him with, but I'd be for that.
Yeah, well, apparently, he always knows where I am, so this is going to be interesting.
Well, he did said he didn't care who you bedded.
As if I need his permission for that.
Well, that, my dear, is why I left you alive and got you help. Bring freedom to those forced to labour in an artifice they hate. 'Tis one of our commandments. 'Twas my faith that guided me to help you, and the others that we've taken away from bondage over the years. So I think this counts as those labouring on the artifice they hate, don't you?
Yeah.
So, where do we go from here?
Well, I'm open for it, but you have to do something first.
And what is that?
Well, as you said, you have to let go of your grief.
Aye. I do. I should have told you that yesterday. Although it would have helped if the mother had seen me last night instead of just telling me to go away.
Just try again today. You may be more lucky today.
Aye. I'll happen along to the temple and make a plea, ask for a boon, promise to make what atonement or penance I must. So long as it frees me up to find out where this is going to go between us, it'll be worth it.
Oh,
Follow your passions.
you know that I know little more than how to fight and kill.
More than a little.
It's basically the only thing I'm good at, so you are way ahead of me in regards of whatever this is going to be.
Well, there's a few things I can teach you, but you're going to find a lot of guidance from listening to this. Yeah, let your heart be your guide. Yeah, listen to it and don't suppress it. And remember, love always comes before duty. And in the name of that, Miss Estrella, he takes her hand. Would you mind terribly stepping over here into this nook with me? You step out of the street and he kisses her.
She lets him kiss her, but doesn't respond because she's just a little bit too surprised.
We'll work on it. Don't worry. We'll take it in steps. No, we were on our way somewhere, were we not?
Yes, Sergeant Ibrahim. Caravans, yes.
I think I remember him. From more than just yesterday. I can't be sure.
And we'll find that out next weekend. For now, you all stay safe, stay healthy, and be well, and we will be with you next Sunday, hopefully at 1700 CET, more likely at 1800 CET, and if we're being realistic, somewhere between 18 and 1900 CET. But we gotta call it here before I get boiled in this apartment. So thank you all for joining, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.
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 Bye.